Diphthongs! I love diphthongs. I teach them every day. Lots of people struggle with them. But what are they? Well, diphthongs are a combination of two vowel sounds which join together and glide into each other. They become one sound. Now, firstly, if you're not familiar with monophthong vowels, so a single vowel like I or eh, then you probably should check out my video, which is about monophthong vowels. It's called How to Pronounce All of the Vowel Sounds in British Pronunciation. It will just make things a little bit easier as we move into diphthongs, which are a little bit more challenging. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you all 8. The other thing to remember, apart from a diphthong being a combination of two sounds, is it should be in the middle in terms of length between a short vowel and a long vowel. So a long vowel, work. Short vowel, but. However, a diphthong, a. It's kind of in the middle, right? It's not too short, it's not too long. So, you've already heard one of them, a. Here are the other diphthongs. I, try, oi, boy, oh, go, ow, how, ear, here, air, hair. And this last one is kind of optional. It's changed a lot in modern RP. It's but it is very different now, and we'll talk about that at the end of the lesson. So let's start with A, which is the first sound I've introduced to you. Remember, it's a combination of two sounds. We're starting with the jaw half open and the tongue slightly forwards, and then we're moving into more of a kind of closed jaw smiling shape at the end. A. A. Let's start with the sound at the beginning of a word to practice it. For example, 8. A. 8. 8. His kid is 8 years old. And in some high frequency words. Maybe. Maybe. Always. Always. Today. Today, a, say, okay, age. They always say okay. They always say okay. Maybe he's not the right age. Maybe he's not the right age. What did he say today? What did he say today? So remember, jaw half open, into a smile, a. Common mistake I hear with this sound from my students is not pronouncing the full diphthong, so it just becomes a kind of long eh. I've heard so many students say, my name is, instead of my name is. We have to try and get that full movement. This next one is one which most of my students don't realise they're pronouncing incorrectly, and it's I. The mistake I hear the most is the tongue is too forwards at the beginning of the sound, so it sounds a bit more like I from many non-native speakers. We want the tip of the tongue at the beginning of the sound a little bit more in the middle of the mouth. So instead of being forwards and flat, we want it a bit more here, so it would be ah, ah, ah. We have to feel the throat open a little bit more. We don't want the tongue all the way forwards, okay? So slide it back a bit. Ah, ah, I. Finished with that jaw closed smiling shape at the end. I. You might find this makes your voice sound a little bit deeper, and that's okay. You can work with that later, but it really helps just to get the sound right to begin with by opening the throat a bit more. I. So that's already one word. We say the word I a lot in English. We're always talking about ourselves. So I is a great word you can use to help yourself. I have some students who frequently stop. Whenever they say I, they go I. They correct themselves. Ice. 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 There is ice outside. Side, outside. Sky. Remember to pull the tongue back a bit more at the beginning. I. My. Try. Goodbye. Inside. Fry. Item. I will try to find the light switch. I will try to find the light switch. My time is almost up. My time is almost up. It's fine if we leave tonight. It's fine if we leave tonight. I. So remember, we don't want I. Bring it back more. I. Over-exaggerate in the beginning and then start to relax it a bit more when you get better. Next, we have another sound which finishes with that closed jaw smiley shape, but it starts with a round shape with the lips. Oi. Now, we often use this to get people's attention. It's a bit informal, but we might say, oi, come over here. Oi. So to practice this, shout it as loud as you can. Oi. We start with the tongue back and rounded lips and move into that smiley shape at the end. Oi. At the beginning of words, this sound doesn't really happen very much. The only word I can really think of right now is oyster. Oyster. So, he avoids eating oysters. He avoids eating oysters. So remember, round shape at the beginning. Oi. Join. Join. Annoying. Noise. Boy. Employ. Or employee, employer. And now, one of the most hated words in English. I don't know why, but everybody hates this word. They always say it makes them cringe. Moist. That boy made the right choice. That boy made the right choice. I can't hear your voice. I can't hear your voice. He will employ 8 new people to join the team. He will employ 8 new people to join the team. Oi. Now, with my students, I always say this is the sound, or one of the sounds, that will make you sound that little bit more British. So if you're looking for more of a British sounding accent, this is a great one for you. And that sound is O. Start with your tongue in the center of your mouth, very relaxed, gentle, but it shows it's a schwa sound at the beginning, right? And the schwa sound should be like in about. However, we are a little bit more open, so it's not open. That's a bit more old-fashioned, a bit more royal. For modern RP, just open a little bit more for this sound at the beginning. Oh. You see how I'm rounding at the end? We start with the mouth slightly open, just a little bit open like we're breathing, and then we close into that round shape at the end. Oh. Very common at the beginning of words. Oh, only, over, open. I will only open the door when you say so. I will only open the door when you say so. Oh. Some common practice words. Phone. Oh, phone. Joke. No. Ago. Hello. Show. Grow. He owns the roadside shop. He owns the roadside shop. Oh, I know you'll show me the way. I know you'll show me the way. So, go ahead. Go ahead and show me the joke. So, shall we go? Shall we go? Common mistake I hear with this sound is people just doing oh. So it would be go, no, show. They're not doing that opening at the start. Oh. So remember to do that. It's very important to create this sound, especially if you're trying to sound more RP British. Now, when you hurt yourself, you might say ow or ouch. That's the ow sound that we make. Tongue low, mouth open. Ah. Go into a round shape at the end, just like in the previous sounds we've worked on. Ow. So where it's at the beginning, maybe a word like out, out. We will go out later. We will go out later. Remember the previous sound, O. Go out, go out. We will go out later. More high frequency words. Shout, ow, ow, shout. Doubt, doubt, down, down. This one tricks a lot of people. Mountain, mountain. Mouth, mouth, mouth. How, allow, allow. The house is south of the river. The house is south of the river. My shower is downstairs. My shower is downstairs. Ow. My shower is downstairs. I am heading south to climb the mountain in my favorite outfit. I'm heading south to climb the mountain in my favorite outfit. If you're a German speaker, this one's often a problem. I often hear all instead of ow. So that's something you may want to work on. Next, don't overthink this one. We're not really doing much with the mouth. Ear, ear. Look at my face, it's hardly moving. I'm starting with my tongue at the front of the mouth, E, just behind the top teeth. Mouth isn't really very open, ear, ear. So it's a bit like you're smiling and then you lose interest. You know when someone tells you a joke, it's like, it's not funny, right? Ear, ear, same thing. So, ear, ear. I have big ears, I look like a monkey. You can use that to remember me. You have big ears. It must be easy to hear. You have big ears. It must be easy to hear. Some high frequency words. Nearly. Ear. Nearly. Appear. Ear. Appear. One of the most common words in British English. Cheers. Cheers. Ear. Another one of the most common words in British English. Beer. Ear. Beer. Clear. Near. Idea. Fear. Engineer. Come here. Let's have a beer. Come here. Let's have a beer. Ear. Was that your idea? It's not very clear. Was that your idea? It's not very clear. The engineer lives near the station. The engineer lives near the station. Now this one's a bit confusing because you might hear it in two different ways in modern RP. We'll start with the standard diphthong version, which is air, air. So you know before we did ear. Similar thing, but the mouth is a little bit more open at the start. The tongue is still forward. The mouth is just a bit more open. Air, air. We're going to that unenthusiastic, standard, basic mouth shape at the end. Air, air. However, we often hear this just pronounced as a long eh sound, like in my name, Elliot, air. So you might hear many people say where instead of where. I will give you both versions so you can hear them, but it's up to you what you prefer to do. It's okay, whichever you prefer. So the air sound is a word, air. So firstly, in the more standard way, the air tank is over there. The air tank is over there. Or the air tank is over there. Just a long air. It's up to you. We also have scary, which could also be scary. Careful, which could be careful. Haircut, which could be haircut. Haircut. Repair, repair. Wear, wear. Share, share. Care, care. I prefer going with the more modern version, so that's what I'll do in these sentences. She really takes care of her hair. There's fresh air downstairs. There's fresh air downstairs. I was scared when I saw you there. I was scared when I saw you there. Now we're on to the last one, which is a bit of a weird one, because if we're a bit more old-fashioned and we speak with more of a standard traditional British RP accent, we're definitely going to say So we're starting with that round shape with the lips and then going into that neutral shape at the end. Like in sure, sure. However, this isn't in my accent. I'm a modern RP English speaker, and you'll find it's a lot more common in modern RP to just say or, like in more and or. So for the sake of practice, for those of you who are interested in more of an old-fashioned accent, I will give you both. But when I do the sentences, I will do or. So we have words like poor, which would be poor in modern RP. Tour, tor, sure, sure, cure, cure, during. I'm not sure if the tour is worth it. I'm not sure if the tour is worth it. She felt poor when she found the cure. I'm not sure if he will endure the tour. I'm not sure if he will endure the tour. There you go. A lot to remember. And these are just a few common words and sentences to practice the sounds. If you want to go into detail and really target this based around things in your real life, then you may want to work with me directly. Or if you want more information and more detailed lessons on the sound, two options. I have a pronunciation course, which includes full-time WhatsApp voice message support from me, corrections, advice, conversation, or I have private lessons now where you can work with me directly on Zoom and we can work through your problems and reach your goals together when it comes to pronunciation. If you're not sure or what you want to go for, you can actually book a discovery call with me where we have a chat, get to know each other, talk about your goals, and work out which option is best for you. You can even combine both. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. It's nice to be back. I know I've been away for a little while. Thank you for your patience. I love you all. Cheers, guys. Bye.